When things are going well, is it easier to manage players?
The best team building is when you got beaten, because there you see the true character of a team.
So what did that moment actually mean to you on a personal level, winning against Schalke?
It was a very important game. Schalke was the leader of the second Bundesliga. I lead groups in the best way I can, full of energy and empathy for the boys. The attitude is non-negotiable. If you give top players two strict rules that they can't go to their 100%. And of course it hurts when the individual player sometimes doesn't do the right run, doesn't go in the system as you want. But this player will decide again for you. We have, in the meantime, so many good players in Germany. I believe we need more freedom to them.
You gave everything you could, but it comes from the decision from the club that you are not longer part of it.
It was not expected, to be honest. It was a joyride, and still I consider Alemannia Aachen as the best time of my life. Of course you are disappointed, but that belongs to our job. That's the risk of our job.
Heiner, thank you for coming on Sport Journey podcast. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for the invitation.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I got sacked 3 weeks ago, so the first time in life I had a bit of freedom, a bit of time for the family. I used the time well. Of course, I miss football already as a football coach, but I'm happy. That's the most important, and I'm happy to see you.
You look refreshed. So
You think?
yes.
Nice to hear.
2 years ago, we spoke about your journey, playing in multiple countries as a player, your transition of becoming a coach by creating a club from scratch, and then working at different clubs in Germany's 4th division. So, and at the time we spoke, correct me if I'm mistaken, you were with Alemannia Aachen at the top of the 4th league. Since then, you have experienced promotion, pressure, high expectations, leaving Alemannia Aachen, joining Eintracht Braunschweig. As you mentioned, it ended quite difficult there. So my first question is actually, I think, simple. Who are you today compared to the person I interviewed 2 years ago?
I'm the same. I just had a fantastic time in Alemannia Aachen. It was a joyride, and still I consider Alemannia Aachen as the best time of my life. And but when you sometimes developing so fast, even as a coach, that another club from the next level knocks your door and wants to buy you, then you have to consider that you have only one career. And Alemannia was giving me also away. And I think to start something in second Bundesliga. I came from Division 7 as a coach, and the last 3 clubs, they have paid a transfer fee for me. So, I wanted to be in second Bundesliga, and I don't regret it, although, of course, I miss Aachen a couple of times.
Are you proud of your journey so far?
I'm living the moment, Christos. I don't think so much in front, and I don't like to be in the past. But, of course, sometimes in a time like now where you reflect yourself, then you realize that to jump the levels so quick after so short time, it fulfills you and it gives you peace because there must be something what you are able to do. So with both legs on the floor, but I believe I can be in the future still performing the same level, maybe higher. But I need this break now also to refresh and to settle the things, and learn from my mistakes. But I'm on a good way. And as you said, I'm looking fresh.
Yes.
So, let's continue.
I recently watched an interview with Yaya Touré on the High Performance podcast, where he said that not being in a coaching role right now makes him feel a bit sad. How are you experiencing this phase of your life?
It's too fresh, to be honest. For now, I'm just enjoying my freedom, my time with my kids, with my wife. I was traveling 2 weeks in the Balkans, so I got a lot of impression how life can be in good and in the bad. I saw many happy people with much less money than we have here in Western Europe. No, but of course I will miss football. If it starts to go to the next season for the preseason, and I would be still sitting on the couch, then I think I would get nervous. But I will not underestimate the things. It's difficult. Everybody wants to be a coach. There are just a few positions. So now I have to be patient and wait for the good future.
He also mentioned that motivating players today is more difficult than before. What are those distractions?
They demand a lot more from the coach as we did. We just were good followers. What the coach said was a rule, was the law, and there was no why. communication in general was different. Today, the players have a much better education from the centers of the Bundesliga clubs. So they are able to ask questions, and I think that's very, very good to ask questions, because it helps also the motivation of the players if you explain them exactly why you want that from them. So whereas a plan, there has to be commitment and communication, and I like it the way it is, because before I was following a lot of coaches during my career just because they were my boss. But I think a good boss should tell still the people what and why they have to do this and that.
You mentioned that your time in Aachen, it was great. You created momentum in the club and an identity, or you helped build an identity in the club. What was the moment you realized this is bigger than just football now?
It's a good question, because I believe that identification is everything. I was so heavily identified with Alemannia Aachen that it was more than a job. It was love to the people of Aachen, and they were like 12, 13 years in amateur football, and to bring back this big club back on track in professional football, keeping them in the league in the first year with nearly the same team as in the fourth division. Full stadiums week in, week out, away fans everywhere you go. You would have listened to Alemannia supporters, and I think the end was a bit unlucky, because I think that time could be much more worth it if we had a better finish. But still, Alemannia Aachen is a religion in the west of Germany.
What does the pressure feel like in a club like this?
Christos, I'm a very resilient guy. Maybe from the way my parents they parenting me, and I was always a very talented player. So when you play for Schalke 04 with 8 years, everybody wants your position. Every year you play, the best players wanted to come in my team and wanted to take my position. So I was always grown up like that. So for me, pressure is a privilege. I could never play football without pressure.
But people see results, and I would like to ask you, what is something behind the scenes during the time you were in Alemannia Aachen that nobody sees, or the people that are outside of the club don't see?
Yeah, when I came, the team was struggling. In my opinion, in mentality. The discipline was not so good as I expected from a team, and we had good players, no doubts. But those players were not fit, were not playing as a united group of men, And that's the first thing we changed there. And in a big club
by changing the players, or by finding the full
no, first you have to bring a new culture to the club, a culture where everybody is seen, where everybody gets a chance, where the performance decides at the end, not the name of the player. The performance decides. And yeah, as long as the performance is good, I forgive mistakes. But if the performance is lazy or is less than 100%, you have to fight sometimes with people. But of course, in a bigger club, there are more directions and streams from everywhere, and of course you need a lot of energy to get them all under one head in one direction. And I think that at the end makes this type of clubs also so nice, because everybody wants the same. Everybody wants that this club goes well, and everybody wants to be the first one who can be the face of this company. So it was very nice. But I was used as a player to traditional clubs. Even before I came from BFC Dynamo to Aachen, was a very, very successful club in the past with a lot of fans. And step by step, you grow with the things. So I could not tell you that without experience to go to Aachen you don't survive. Impossible, because the resilience you build up in your life is at the end the key to change things, and you have to change things. And those processes in a big club where every decision you take has a massive influence, especially today in times of social media, everything you change has influence. And to stay on with yourself, to be clear in the things you want to do, in the respectful communication, this is the biggest task in clubs like that. In smaller clubs it's easier because there are less people asking for the why of the decisions. In bigger clubs, there's a lot what you have to face.
When things are going well, is it easier to manage players or is it harder?
To win is life quality, Victory is a life quality. But you see the character of the players in defeats. And I say that the best team building is when you got beaten. because there you see the true character of a team. And a team is more than the amount of players in a squad. A team is energy, is something esoteric, more or less, but a team has a spirit. You can measure this nowhere. And if this is well, if the culture is well, if you forgive yourself mistakes, I think then the positivity will get you a lot of power. And if this is multiplied in a big club with the fans, where you also have influence as a coach to make a culture going, because you can clap at the sideline for a one ball, for a throw-in, if you celebrate the throw-in for the opponent because you blocked the ball into the out. They will do it the same way. If you're always negative and complaining, the people will complain. I think that's a very, very important thing for a coach in a big club like that.
I think in general for life, being positive is definitely a good thing to have.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, if you're negative and football
because players are a little bit negative.
Huh?
Players are a little bit negative in general. They try always to find the thing that is wrong. You know how players think.
Yeah, but when they don't play, they have their positions and they have their rights to be negative. Because football, I enjoy to play football. And imagine a coach didn't let me play. Of course, I would be angry at him. But it has to be in a certain way, with respect and with communication. But negativity, I don't experience that so much.
What is actually the biggest danger in a winning team?
Or to get lazy and to read the press and to read the social media things. And it's very simple. When you win a game, you're never better, and when you lose, you're never worse than you are. So the performance at the end is decisive. And sometimes the inner post goal or outer post defeat doesn't change the things. You have to understand that you can only change the performance. You cannot change the result so much.
So promotion came after with Alemannia Aachen. A new club approached you. You signed for Eintracht Braunschweig. I assume that you were very happy. The club paid a fee for you. How easily did you detach from everything you built in Aachen?
It's painful. It's like you finish a relation with your wife. But sometimes things change in a club. There were elections, a new committee came inside. The first decisions of this committee were, in my opinion, strange. Taking out things and people who were really, really working well, with a very good spirit in the let's say in the leadership of this club. So I knew when they do this with the directors, my position will be also question mark very soon if the things don't go well. Then came this offer, and of course, when you go to the next step, you go to second Bundesliga. Then I will be one out of 25 German coaches in first and second Bundesliga. And who can say today he was a Bundesliga coach? So it's something special. But still, when Aachen didn't even try to convince me to stay, the new people, then I knew that it's the right time to go.
Mm-hmm. Was it everything as you imagined? Like, because you started from the 7th league, as you said, one day to be in the second Bundesliga. How was the feeling like going to the first training with the team, being a coach of such a big club?
No, I have been always convinced about myself. You can't be a coach in Bundesliga level if you're not clear. You have to know clearly how you want to play. And this conviction you spread into a group. If the groups, they know very simple. If this is just blah blah, and he's a coach who has a good tactical performance on the board. Mm-hmm. But no, I see football very clear and very, very much from my experience as a player. I've been through a lot of things as a player, so I can really understand fast with a good empathy how players think and behave. And the players, they are the same. The dressing room smells the same as it smells in Division 8 or 7. So they all sweat, and they're nice people. And I think even as a player to arrive in this level, that means that you have to have a good integrity. You must be teamable. You must be respectful and listen instructions and everything. So I enjoyed it.
And then there are these moments in football that feel almost like full circle moments. And you spoke about playing for Schalke in the academy. You played against them. You won the game. You had also the crazy game I watched myself on the TV against Stuttgart. You couldn't really see the difference which club is first league and which club is second league. There were two clubs that were playing the same football, like really competitive. Do you still, first of all, do you still have the tattoo of Schalke in your hand?
Of course.
You do have it.
I was thinking when I became a professional coach to cover it, but I said, no way. This is part of my life. And without this education, I wouldn't be the person as I am today.
So what did that moment actually mean to you on a personal level, winning against Schalke?
Winning against Schalke didn't feel so well because I love Schalke. But yeah, it was a very important game. Schalke was the leader of the second Bundesliga. We were in good shape before winter. We had won the last 3 games in a row. And I knew that Schalke will give us a hard fight, but we were also at that moment in a very good level. And we did totally deserve to win the game. It was 2-1. I think we could have won with a goal more in difference, but the game was up and down, full pressing, both sides. It was the type of games I would always buy a ticket for.
Stadium full?
Yeah, of course.
In the game against Stuttgart?
We had nothing to lose.
Yeah,
we had nothing to lose, so we said, okay, let's press them. Let's try to take them the joy of playing. You know, it was in the middle of the week. We used to play the week before in Karlsruhe, and the next game was against Arminia Bielefeld. Stuttgart used to play the Super Cup against Bayern, and then played against Union Berlin. So when we have them at home, we try to eat them alive. You know, so we pressed them high, and the match plan was incredible. We played man-to-man all over the pitch, and Stuttgart, they didn't get out from our pressing, so it was incredible. The young boys we had, they were overperforming, and then with the fans and with everything, it was a 4-4. After 120 minutes, we dramatically lost the penalty after, I think, 15 penalty shots. Cramps everywhere. Everyone was tired, but was so proud of the boys.
of course. Did that game push the team afterwards?
Mentally, yes. Physically, unfortunately not. We lost 2 players in the next game due to muscle injuries.
So do you think they gave it so much?
Yeah, of course.
More than they could?
Of course. I remember one sprint of Lukas Frankert, our captain on Braunschweig. In the 119th minute, this guy was running 70 meters with the ball. It looked everything but not healthy running. It was crazy. But these boys, they have this mentality. And yeah, unfortunately, we didn't win because we deserved it so much.
And coaching at that level means also sometimes you have to take decisions under pressure. And mistakes are inevitable. So how do you deal with those moments internally? And how do they shape you as a leader?
As I said, you have to be clear in what you want. And the conviction is the most important. If you tell the team, we're going to press Stuttgart high, and that's the best match plan to have, to convince the players to go and press and don't to drop and look Woltemade and Undav and all these players, let them play free now. We want to stress them. And that was the key for the game. Of course, you need luck, because with the first shot, we were leading 1-0. So it was like a spirit in the game, which was incredible. Because the year before, they lost, before my time against Frankfurt, like 3-4-0. No one was believing it. And we made these doubters to believers in this game. And that was a magic night.
Have you ever made a mistake that you will say after, like, it should have been different?
You asked me before for the mistake. Mistakes, they happen. And the culture of a team and on the path with a team, mistakes are the best teachers for improvement.
So this is the way you receive
Yeah,
the
of
mistake.
course.
Part
The
of life.
attitude is non-negotiable. To lose the ball is the most normal process and the most normal thing. To win it back has nothing to do with talent or with ability. It's just the pure desire to get this ball back. And I see mistakes as chances to win the ball again. And then after you win it, you have corridors and spaces, what you will never face if you don't gegenpress the ball there. So, of course, it's conviction for the players, because my team didn't used to play this type of gegenpressing before my time. But the boys, they were their own teachers. So mistakes are there to help you. And sometimes you learn from them. Sometimes you don't learn from them. And this is the problem, not to learn from mistakes.
Mhm. What is the biggest mistake you made?
A lot. Of course, I do mistakes every day, but I do a lot of things. So when you do a lot of things, you do a lot of mistakes. I'm the last person who's not clear that the more you do mistakes. But these types of mistakes I do, they come from my heart. I lead groups in the best way I can, full of integrity, full of energy and empathy for the boys. But also when you decide to change a player, I want to help my team, but that of course doesn't happen all the time. But I never do mistakes because I have already the third, fourth step in mind. What will happen if I do this? For me, I just live the moment in presence.
And I guess that the moment you take the decision is the best decision that you feel is the right thing to do.
Yeah. You need to
Because
have
you're going to win,
experience,
right?
and you need to listen to your belly a little bit. But of course, you as a coach, you have people around you, and they can help you with data. They can tell you how is the workload in the game, and of course that helps you to take good decisions. But still, decision is like on the traffic jam. You go left or right. I don't know later where's the problem.
In seconds, you have to take the decision. You don't have the time to think, and you have the pressure, the noise, everything. It's not so easy.
Yes, but with experience, you focus on the main things. We don't have seconds for decisions. We have a bit longer. On the pitch, you have a break of a second, but outside as a coach, you read the game, and this is part of in-game management to see what does the opponent do tactically. Also, how change energy sometimes. Yes, how change the momentum of a game. This comes with experience.
How do you do it? How much time do you invest in watching the opponent that you're playing the upcoming game?
Not so much as maybe other coaches do. I want to know. Yes, I want to know against what type of system I play. I want to know how is their pressing behavior generally, but the match plan of the opponent, I can't change. So I focus on my game.
Okay.
Our principles are much more important than the opponent, and we have solutions for everything the opponent will give us. So I don't know what happens. I don't know. Maybe overnight players will be sick and don't play the next game. My team is in the other team. So it's much more important how you prepare the team based on your strengths and based on your strategy.
And you don't take any report from your coaching staff.
Of course,
You do
of course. But at the end, it's in every database thing. It's experience to use them in the right way. I don't need to know everything from the opponent because I believe the 100% capacity of the players, they're not processors sometimes like a computer. Give them the key informations they need. Make them clear in the principles what you expect from them. It's much more important than the system, for example. The system is a tool what helps you to start. But when the ball is on one side, the shiftings and everything make it so difficult to see what system you play in that moment. So the principles are important and they're clear.
And what is your system? What is your principles?
I used to play always in the start of the season with a back three because I like in rest defense this extra player, and during the seasons I opt this central player and play with one player more in front of the ball.
Why is that? Why is that changed?
Because I like to press high, and I want the ball in opponent's half. So when you lose it and you have just two central defenders, then I have to shift a lot, and I like to have the center always covered for the counterattack. If a team has more experience in these principles, to take out the central defender and to put the central defender, for example, in position 10 to play 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, if you put him on 1-8 position, can help you to have this extra player in front for the transition of your team and also of the gegenpress. But when I start in a team, I have good experience with the back three, and then later during the season, playing back four.
And one of the principles, I guess, in a system like this is you have to have fit players, like physically fit.
But of course.
Yeah.
But of course, yeah. Fitness is something you can't, sorry, I don't wait for fitness. A player has to be every day in the best level possible.
Mm-hmm. Do you think in comparing to other coaches, do you pay more attention to the physical level?
Yes, definitely. Because it's something you can really change.
Mm-hmm.
I can't change the weather. I can't change the performance on the day. But I can change the preparation for a game.
Are all the players ready to go through the training plan you have?
Of course not. The team players, they are easy to handle.
Mm-hmm.
But the individual players, of course, when you have a super talented player, a dribbler, individual player, you have to have the right tools to get him in the shape and to explain him why you want him to be in this level, because that's the most important. The individual players, if they follow the plan, the individual players, it's the biggest effort for a team. It's the biggest plus.
What are these tools?
No, you use database, for example.
Okay.
Let's say if there's a top player
Mhm.
who touched the ball a minute in the game. Imagine this player would touch the ball a minute and a half. What effect does it have for the team? Because most of the players, the individual players, they see themselves only be able to possess the ball when they receive the ball. And then they say to me, yeah, but I didn't get any ball. But you can win the ball, my friend. You can win the ball. Imagine you also are a ball winner, besides being a top player and a top dribbler. Imagine you win the ball, not for the team, for yourself. Then you touch the ball half a minute later, half a minute longer. If you're half a minute longer on the ball, you have 33% more chance to score or to assist. So that's very simple.
Do you think you gave everything you could during your time in Braunschweig?
Wherever I went, I gave more, not more than, I gave my 100%. Yes.
Come this time that you gave everything you could, but it comes from the decision from the club that you are not longer part of it. How do you take it?
It's the first time I had to take it.
So how did you deal for the
And
first time
it was
with
not expected, to be honest.
Okay.
Not expected. I didn't expect. On that day, that message, because we used to be...
It was a voice, it was a message.
No. The message, of course, on the eyes. No, of course. It's respect. It has been respectful. That's very important. But the time after one draw in Paderborn, where we were leading till 98th minute 1-0, and we conceded 1-1 from a clear foul, where even the referee has sent an email to the club that it was a mistake not to go to check what the VRA told him. It wasn't my fault. So I don't know what was the decision, maybe based on in other parts of the club, but of course you are disappointed, but that belongs to our job. That's the risk of our job.
Bis zu 78% der ProfisportlerInnen haben 3 Jahre nach dem Karriereende finanzielle Schwierigkeiten. Die Finanzfuchs-Gruppe unterstützt SpielerInnen dabei, ihre Zukunft rechtzeitig abzusichern. Schaut nach vorne, denkt langfristig und informiert euch über ein kostenloses Beratungsgespräch bei der Finanzfuchs-Gruppe. Den Link findet ihr in der Beschreibung unten.
What is your biggest weakness as a coach?
It has been the impatience.
The impatience to get higher,
No,
to get
no,
results.
No. I could not handle defeats well. Defeats and wins, they're imposters. They are not looking for the clear process of building a team in the performance. You have to build the team always on columns of performance. The defeats and the wins, they're just a product, but you can't change it. As a young coach with less experience, I went many times, for sure. If you ask the players, you should know better. On personal level, when I was young, we lost a game, goalkeeper's mistake, and I didn't talk to him 3 days. But come on, that belongs to the culture I was talking about. And the more experienced I am, I don't want to say I can deal with defeats better, but I know that defeats are there to learn. They're the best teacher.
What did you learn from winning?
A game or a league?
A game.
Of course, I said it's life quality, because to be in Bundesliga, to answer questions after defeat, it's not nice. And we have a lot of interviews on the game day, and I'm telling you, it's very, very much lighter, and you see the teeth more often when you win, because of course for everyone when you lose, it's an excuse. Every fan who wanted is disappointed. The first reaction after the game is always disappointed, and everything you say, it's an excuse. But at the end, to find the right words after defeats is much more important than to find the right words after wins.
And you cannot plan these words, I guess. You don't have the time. You enter the dressing room after a defeat, and you have to find the right words. How do you do it?
To the players?
Yes.
No, I have this habit to collect the players in the pitch and to bring them together and never criticize them badly there. Just also to prepare them what maybe be asked from the press, and we don't have to step on each other when we lose. Everybody wants to win, but sometimes the goalkeeper is not happy with the striker is not happy with the defender, and I just want to brief them, to be polite, because we can't change the result. So why we show to everyone that we are nervous or we have problems with each other? No, let's be analytic in this moment. That's the most important.
I want to ask you something because there was a phase where you lost some games in a row, and I think you had a lot of injured players during your time in Braunschweig. During this time, where you had injured players, did you doubt yourself?
Doubt never. Question mark, yes, because the question is always, is the team, due to injuries, handicapped, able to play the style of play you want to play? Or is it better to adapt and to play according to what the players can give you on the pitch? But that has nothing to do again with the result. Of course, everybody demands that from me as a coach, but I have to see the performance. When we played in Berlin, as we played there, we lost 1-0. In Olympic Stadium, 50,000 people. There was only one team playing, it was my team. We lost 1-0. So my solution for the next game cannot be change everything because we have some injured players. That's never an excuse. Never an excuse. You build a strong team and a strong solidarity between the players. So when some players are out, it's a chance for another player. You never say, because of the player you lost. I think you have to make the best out of the situations you find. Otherwise, the players, they don't believe themselves. And that's the thing. I never doubt my conviction when we lose or we win, because I know these are imposters. Winning is imposter. I'm not better than I am. Losing is imposter. I'm not worse than I am. But of course, sometimes you have to adapt.
What is something you believed about football or coaching that you don't believe anymore today?
Yeah, I thought it would be much easier to be a coach as I thought when I was a player.
It's crazy to when you realize how limited time you have as a coach. I mean, in your case, you are quite privileged to be working for so many years, but I know so many coaches, they don't have the time to work. They're 3 months, 4 months, then they're out. And then the question is, how do you survive? How do you provide to the family? These are some different questions.
Of course, the sacrifices as a coach you do, it's a full-time job. You don't come at 10 o'clock and you leave at 2. This is not professional coaching. You are the first who comes there. You are the last to leave the stadium every day, because you have the most work. You have to not only lead a team, you have to lead the staff. You have to lead a club. You have to communicate. You have to speak day in, day out with people, with the physios, with the players, with my team of coaching team, with the president, with the board, with the sport director, with the technical director.
What is the price you pay as a coach to get to that level on a personal level?
Of course, I see my family much less than other people in other jobs, of course. And I'm so thankful for the family I have, especially my wife, who accepts that and who supports me in everything I do.
That's very important.
For me, I always tell my players, the most important decision in life is not which club you choose, is which partner you choose. Yeah.
Because it can define your career. When you have a partner, when you come back home, you have peace. And the other way around, you are not performing in the same way. So what is the misconception about leadership?
First of all, you have to admit, and I think every coach can tell you the same, you can never and you will never play the football you have written down in a theory, in a vision of play. Because there's so many factors which change the basic football philosophy you have. What team do I have? How is the mental situation of the team? Am I new? When I'm a new coach, there's a reason for bringing a coach new inside the team. Most of the time, it's because the other coach didn't have success. So there's so many blockades to solve and so much conviction to spread, because a new coach is not only a new chance for everyone, also some other players, they lose their position. So to get a new job is something so nice for your ego. You can show, Baba, I'm here. I'm back on the track, but it's a lot of responsibility.
You are entering a new club. How do you find, you don't change the system. You adapt with the things that are already there and putting your touch, or do you try to change the culture?
Change management is the most important job a coach has to do when he arrives. It's not about your ego and I play 3-4-2-1 as we did now, or 4-3-3. It's about what does the team need now? even the way you talk to them. Do they need this energizer who always goes like that? Or do you have a lot of energetic players on the pitch who do their job on the pitch already? You'll step a bit back. It's about experience. Most important is that you lead them. And to lead means that you're most of the time in front of them. Not always, but most of the time you're in front of them. And you have to lead by example. So I can't expect from a player things I don't give myself. So I demand so much from my players, physically, mentally, from the perspective of being a homogeneous unit of men who have all their own interests, but they have to follow a certain direction. So it's very important to go inside a new group with an open heart, but with a clear way what a team is allowed to do and what is not allowed to do. And I'm a very open-minded guy. And I've been all over the world, so I know what Muslims need in Ramadan. Just to give you an example, in Braunschweig, I delayed the bus tour when we went to a Saturday's game for a couple of hours because I wanted them to pray. So the physical level of the players during Ramadan month, you can't exhaust them there. On the other side, you have so many different cultures in one group that you have to build bridges between them. And that at the end is the glue between a team. That you want the others to let's say, I like to treat people very well. And they give me this back on the pitch. And I don't expect a win. I don't expect mistake-free performance, but I want that they run and they go, and they don't do this for me. They do this for the club. And this is what a coach, in my opinion, has to settle at first. The culture must be clean. There is no interest of bringing president's son to play, or the agent tells me, bring my player to play. Not at all. My eyes, my experience tell me with these boys, I can win the next game. This is coaching, basically. And of course, you hurt people who don't start to play. But then by good communication, they should never leave the path of the others. And that's the biggest as a coach to do.
What do you think is the difference between a coach with a top coach? And you can see maybe from your example, your second league with the coaches in the first league, or
I don't know. I don't think there's a big difference. To do a coaching career by being a national player is easier as if you don't have played in the national team, for example, or being just a player like me, a shitty second division player who played abroad, It's more difficult, definitely, to come up. At the end, it's integrity, clear vision, fairness, and of course, acceptance from the player. If you treat people well, they give it back to you. And I think that's the secret. And at the end, we're talking about so many things, but at the end, it's about love.
Mm-hmm.
If you give love to someone, it's something you can't learn, because there are people who are cold, who are very good and very, very demanding tactically, but maybe they're cold. And I believe if you touch the heart of a player, it's so much easier to win him, and to not to win him only. It sounds very active to win a player.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to win players. I want to win games. But you need the players to play. And football on top level, it's a players game. I think that is the biggest difference. The lower you work, the more you have to coach, the more you have to settle the structure. In Bundesliga, 1 meter is the difference. And the decisions of the players inside the game is much better than my decision ever could be. And I think a big problem is not to arrive in top level if you give top players too many informations and too strict rules that they can't go to their 100%. And of course it hurts when the individual player sometimes doesn't do the right run, doesn't go in the system as you want. But this player will decide the game for you. He's a special one. To transmit this into a group where the other players know that maybe he's done the wrong movement, the wrong pass, the wrong runway. But we need him because he will do the extra thing. To see this as a coach, which players need this and need this. I think that's the high school of coaching.
Do you treat the players the same way, or like if you see someone who has this ability to perform or to make this change, this difference? Would you treat him in a different way?
To treat everybody equally, you need to give everyone what he needs.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a father who has 3 kids, who's 35, complete different. Coaching as a 19-year-old boy who comes from academy. A player a starting player, completely different to a player who hasn't been in the squad, who has been on the stands. The players feel if you want to help them.
Mm-hmm.
You can help a 35-year-old player by not talking to him because he has listened to the same bullshit year in, year out. Even just to decide you are out can help much more than to talk and talk and talk.
If I gave you a team of extremely talented players with bad character or average players with great character, which one do you choose?
I don't want to judge what is bad and good. I just like football players who are very talented. And sometimes it's easier to change the mentality of a player who can play fantastic football, but put this into a group than having fantastic team players, but who have not the same talent. You need both. But I believe without these top players, you cannot win leagues. I don't believe. Just with pressing, just with organization, just with principles, you can be second, but not win.
What is the difference then? Win a league?
Because at the end, it's football. If I see a Messi, I don't believe that he needs a clear plan.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there. Maradona, I grew up with Maradona. Tell me the position he played. He was there where the ball was. And I think still today, you have these players, when they touch the ball, this is why the people buy the ticket for the stadium. Not because I'm a good coach. No, It's a player's game in this level.
Looking at Germany today, what does German football still do better than others?
Good question. We are still sometimes a bit over-organized. I like organization, I love it. But it has not... Football is a player's game. We have, in the meantime, so many good players in Germany. I believe we need more freedom to them. Not by losing our German mentality. I don't want to say that. But I can't see when I watch games of fourth division, when I see teams defending in low block all the time, every time, winning the ball, playing back, losing the ball, running back. No, I want to see that it's clear from the first moment where's the goal, where I have to score. And Germany has been like that. They played pragmatic football in the past, And we have to find a better balance between individuality and organization.
Do you think the German players are as hungry as they were before?
No, today's easier to make money, first of all, to be clear like that. In our times when we played, we had to play 3, 4, 5 years constantly to get this contract would change your life. Today, some players are very talented, and because the market develops like that, those players they have with 17 an income where they don't need a coach anymore. They don't need me. They don't need nothing. They have everything. It makes it more difficult. But you have to adapt on that. Money is no motivation, in my opinion. I don't believe that Cristiano Ronaldo plays with 41 because he needs money. I believe that he has an inner spirit and an inner motivation what leads him. And I believe that is the only motivation at the end what counts.
Do you think the harder the childhood was, the bigger the success or the bigger the hunger is?
I don't want to say hard because we in Western Europe will never have the life what they have in favelas in Brazil or in the suburbs of Buenos Aires or even in Saint-Denis, Paris. We don't have that life. Thanks God we don't have that life. Yes, but I think still this humility that to be a football player, it's not only a privilege. You have to work hard for it, and to arrive there sometimes goes too fast. But that's part of the business. We can stay in our own country to become financially independent in football, in nearly everything. Who can say that? When you're from a small country, no. If you're from Bosnia, let's say, because I've been last week in Bosnia and Sarajevo, I don't believe that when you're the best player in the Bosnian league, you can stay in Bosnia and to have the same economical security as you leave the country. So when you go somewhere, you start zero.
Yes.
And there you see the difference. As you are a talent here, where from the 14th year, the people tell you he will be a top player in the future, blah, 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 blah. This is the biggest difference.
You have now experienced the second Bundesliga from the inside, under pressure, fighting for results and different styles every single week. From your perspective, who is the best team in the league right now?
I would say Schalke. I would say Schalke because they have a coach who's really, really clear what he wants. He treats the people extremely well. He's been through a lot of problems in his life. He's from a war country, but he's well prepared, and he managed to bring the people of Schalke behind the team. If you start this process, if 63,000 people shout in the home games for the team, you can't break this energy. So Schalke is the best team.
And he deserves to be in the Bundesliga anyways.
Well, it deserves to be Champions League.
What does a comeback mean to you today? Like, how do you rebuild yourself after a setback, being fired from a club?
To go out of this tunnel, it's very important to see the complete perspective, and you said setback. That's a setback. You have to analyze yourself. Have I been always as relaxed and as clear as I'm maybe now with less pressure? Because in the moment you're in the job, it's different. And looks so easy. It's not so easy.
It doesn't look easy.
It's not so easy. It's not so easy. But of course, of course you reflect. Reflection is very, 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 very important. I called the players of my own team, where I had a good relation with. Tell me the truth. I don't want to listen I don't want to have sugar in my ears. Tell me the truth. What didn't you like? What didn't you like? And there were 1-2 things after a while when they open up a bit, and they felt the confidence, because I asked these questions for my own good. Where they said to me, okay, this and that, we could have done differently, and I understood. But at the end, you can't change me as a person. You can't change my energy. You will not make me a coach who just defends in low block. So I will be always the energizer as I am. I just have to find the right environment for it, and then let's go for it. I will not do things now which don't fit to me. I'd rather wait for the right moment than to go and jump on the next train. So I'm happy.
What motivates you every day?
I have this inside of me.
The fire?
I have to watch football. I'm a winner. Sorry to tell you, but I want to win. When I play small games with my daughter and she wins, I'm unhappy. I don't let her win. No, if I play, I'm this type of guy. I want to win, and I know now better to handle defeats, but I want to win, and I can't see players who just play to play. I want to win. I want to see this in their in their eyes.
Did you have that as a player?
Yeah, of course. Of course. You don't survive in 7 countries if you go somewhere just to play a little bit tiki-taka and no. I won titles as a player in smaller countries because my talent was not enough. But the character of a player, I was a leader, I was strong, I was fit, I was always there for their teammates.
What is something players will never understand about being a coach?
A lot, of course. It's like you're the horse or you ride the horse. A jockey is different. To be a jockey, needs to know how the horse runs, because if you don't know how the horse runs, you can't be a jockey. But lead people is something I believe you can't learn. It's either you like humans, and they have to understand leadership is help. Leadership is not ego and you have to follow me. If you have to say that, you are not a leader. Leaders lead by their personality and by their integrity.
If someone is listening right now, they're in a difficult phase, maybe doubting themselves, feeling stuck, based on everything you have experienced, what would you tell them?
A player?
It can be a player, it can be a human being. I think it's relevant for
If you doubt yourself, you're in the wrong job. Question mark, yes. Reflection, yeah, of course. Come on. How many people don't reflect because their ego is in the way? All thinking. Reflection is not weak. Getting help is not weak. Weak is to think I'm the only one, and this bullshit. This is past. You need to be clear as a player, as a coach, as a director, what's your strengths and what's a weak point in you. You have to hide sometimes. But if you have doubts, how you want to convince people to follow you if you doubt yourself on the pitch, outside the pitch? Not arrogant, absolutely no. Foot stable on the floor, humility. But the hands have to reach up for the maximum. And this is the thing. You don't win every game, but the imposters of the win and the defeat don't change life. The performance, just focus on the performance. That's the most important.
Imagine you wake up tomorrow and you are 18,
18.
but you have all the experience until today. What advice would you give to yourself?
Going for my wife 10 years earlier, because the first relation I had was not like my second. And of course, I think everyone would say that. I mean, that's a question at the end, the mistakes you do in life and the experience you collect, they make you the person you are. So I would do many things the same because I always enjoyed. Because we are here to enjoy on this planet. Even if you are not in the next job or in the over next job in Bundesliga, I gave my best. I can watch in the mirror. So everything I did was because I liked to do it. I did never things because I had to, and that's a privilege.
Absolutely.
I will not take a job or will not stay. I never stayed in one club when I didn't play because I love to play. It's not because I want to change the club. I wanted to play because I love football. How I stay in one club waiting 3, 4, 5 years to play is impossible because time is luxury. Time, a healthy time. Now I'm 44. I already have spent some time or wasted some time. But what I can tell you is that the time is the luxury product we have. So
make the most out of it.
Make the most out of it. Who tells you it's good or bad? The people? I don't give a sorry. I decide. I know how far I go. And I decide, and as long you can decide, the biggest privilege that you don't have to do things. That I can now, for example, take a week longer or maybe a month, maybe a year longer out of job and to see my daughter growing up. 3 years ago, I couldn't have done that because I couldn't afford it. And this is the thing what I can tell anyone. Don't go for money. Don't go for money on its own purpose, but money gives you, of course, a bit of security. And money gives you time. And that's very important.
I have a tradition by closing the podcast with a 5 round. So I have 5 questions. You can just reply by either saying one word or one sentence. Which Bundesliga club would you dream of coaching one day?
Schalke. Or Alemannia Aachen again.
One word to describe yourself as a coach.
Loyal.
Biggest mistake of your career?
As you see, I forgive me and others' mistakes. Maybe it was to leave Aachen. Maybe, but I don't know.
Best player you ever coached?
Oh, now in Braunschweig. Young players, Mehmet Aydin.
When your career is over one day, what do you want players to say about you?
If they just don't, when they see me in the street and then across the streets, I would be happy. I would be happy. No, they can say he's crazy, he has a lot of energy, he's emotional, but he's honest.
Yeah, that would be all from my side. I hope you enjoyed it.
Of course.
I learned a lot.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. That went quick.
Yeah, thank you once again. I wish you all the best, personally and professionally. And I hope to see you again.
All right. Thank you for being here.